It is me. I'm Sara Davila. I am super happy to be here today with all of you. I have been looking at all of the countries: Saudi Arabia, Poland, Brazil, Lithuania, Kuwait, Georgia, Colombia. There are more countries in here. India is in here. There's so many places. I can't say hello to everyone. I am a global scale of English specialist, also a global scale of English ambassador. If there are other ambassadors here on our show today, toss your name in there, mention that you're an ambassador. And at GSE ambassadors, if you see some good questions in our chat today, feel free to jump in there and answer them. Hi, Dora and Anna. I see Oksana here from the Ukraine, Hajar from Morocco, Deborah in from Brazil, Martha from Florida. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Who are you teaching? What are you hoping to learn about today? If you're not a GSE ambassador and you know about the GSE, feel free to try that out as well. We love it. I also want a big thank you to Pearson for having me today. And with that, I have one more special announcement for all of you. Grab your cell phones, scan that QR code. Pearson has just recently launched a new program for English language teachers to be able to contribute their voices and their ideas to improve the quality of educational learning and learning experiences. You are one of the first groups that gets to learn about this. So be sure to scan that, sign up. Not only will you get access to free educational material, you also have an opportunity to win something every month. And who doesn't like a good free prize? So be sure to check that out and join that community. And hopefully I will see you in the community as well. And with that, if you signed up for this week of learning, then you are here to learn about the global scale of English and all of the different ways that it can be used. Today in this session, we're going to give you tips, tricks, and some of my special secrets. None of these are actually secrets. These are all on the internet, but I find that people don't always know about these things, so I feel like it's a secret. You can tell me secrets I won't tell everyone on the internet, but just in case you're wondering, we're pretty good here. All right. I see some primary teachers in the audience. I saw some public and private school teachers in the audience. I see some teachers here from language departments. If you are a teacher supervisor, if you are a teacher trainer, let us know about that. These resources are for every kind of teacher. You can use these resources in a variety of different ways. If you're teaching college students like Linda, or if you're in a private school like Alyssa, these are resources that you will be able to use in your classroom. We'll be sharing out the links as we go through today, so you'll have access to everything. And with that, we're going to move on. So we're going to start off with some essential tips. What is the global scale of English? How can you use this tool inside of your classroom? Then we're going to get into some GSE tricks. I am going to teach you everything I know about the GSE as quickly as possible. And then finally, we will get into those secrets that you can share with others that I love to share with teachers because they are so exciting. All right, tell me one thing you are excited about in that chat box. I'm looking for some interesting answers. What are you excited to learn about today? Let us know. Hi, Susan from Poland. Susanna. All right. We will, Silvana, that QR code, they will pop that into the chat so you can sign up. Emaine wants to learn some tips. Raylan wants to learn something new. Anna is a tutor in a private school. What do you want to learn, Anna? We called you out. Laura wants to learn about differentiated instructions. Laura, thank you so much. I love that. That's one of the first things we're going to talk about is differentiated instruction. So let me go ahead and get into it with our GSE essentials. I see Rosa wants to learn about motivating learners. Magic tricks. I don't have magic tricks. I do have GSE tricks. So let's go ahead and get into that. With the global scale of English, give me your emojis in the chat. Have you heard about the GSE before? Give me a thumbs up. If this is your first time, give me a thumbs down. If you're like, Sara, I already love the GSE, give me some hearts. I see Stella uses it regularly. Patricia knows about it. I see some thumbs down. That's okay. Some first timers here. All right. If you've never heard of the GSE before, you are in for a real treat today. The global scale of English, before I go too much further, is a resource that can be used to help us understand how our students make progress in English. However, the global scale of English, you can see it here on the screen. It starts out with the CEFR, or the Common European Framework of Reference. To create the global scale of English, we literally took thousands of learning objectives. And then we sent these learning objectives to teachers in the field just like you. If you were one of the volunteers who helped us with this project, give us some love, show us a heart. We'll know that was you if you were one of our volunteers. The teachers then looked at each one of these learning objectives, thousands of learning objectives, and placed them not only on the CEFR, but also on the global scale of English. This helped us to get an understanding of where specific objectives can sit inside of the Common European Framework of Reference. And by creating this tool, this allowed us to calibrate the global scale of English to the CEFR so we can get accurate insights into the types of skills and challenges that exist in each of these CEFR levels. The CEFR is huge, and the global scale of English helps us get granular insight, which is so valuable. Today, what started in 2011, if you can believe it, 2011, which is about 14 years ago, the GSE has grown since then. And in that time, at this point, 3,500, I believe it's more, learning objectives have been added to the global scale of English. And there is more than just learning objectives. There are also grammar objectives in the GSE, and there are vocabulary items inside of the global scale of English as well. And I will show you where you can find all of those items. There is even a global scale of English text analyzer. I'll show you where to find that and how that works. All of these tools are available. Thank you to our good friends from Pearson. This information and this research is a public domain project, which means everything that I'm going to show you today is on the internet. It is free to use and free for you to use inside of your classrooms. So I hope that you are excited about that. Who does not like to have free things first thing on Monday morning? It's one of my favorite things. All right, so why would we use the global scale of English, and what is the value of the GSE? So I'm going to show you a little bit. Sometimes we have students, maybe this is similar to your own classroom, where you have some students and maybe I know that my students are at an A2 level, or for example, I know they're around a 40 on the global scale of English. And for us as educators, the challenge is, if I know where my students are at on the GSE or on the CEFR, how do I make sure they are making progress? And so what the global scale of English allows us to do is understand what skills are available where our students are at currently, and then what we need to consider to scaffold our students and support them, or to help our students stretch and make progress above that level. This is what I like to call targeting the zone of learning. I'm going to say an acronym. If you know this, I'll type it in the chat. You might miss it. It's going to be fast. The acronym is ZPD. If you know what that stands for, type in the answer. Let's see who's first. This is always a big challenge. It's a race. Etragral is the first one over there. He said it first, or they said it first. Zone of proximal development. Deborah's got it. Luz knows this one. Novell, Merv, I see us. All right, and Corhel also got the correct answer. Who created the zone of proximal development? Vygotsky. So if you know Vygotsky, if you know about the zone of proximal development, the global scale of English is very, very helpful for you, because using the zone of proximal development, we can really support differentiation and differentiated instruction in the classroom. So let's look very quickly at how this works. The first question we often have to answer as educators is, where are my students now? Where are they currently at in their learning journey? Perhaps I have some new students. they're new to English, they're coming into my classroom for the first time. They might be at that A1 level or even just below A1. Now, I want those students to make progress in their English learning, so I have to think about where are they going? If they're currently a 20, where do I want them to be? So perhaps my goal is to have these students finish at a 32. That is some progress I want to see my students make during my class. So finally, my big question becomes, how will they get there? What do I need to teach as a classroom teacher to ensure that my students are actually going to achieve those results and make that progress that I want to ensure they make inside of the classroom? So when we're planning on the global scale of English, what this allows us to do is to actually choose that range or that target learning zone. For my students who are very below, I can look at the GSE to understand how to scaffold my students where they're currently at so that they can be successful with that learning. And I can also include content in that learning range that is above my students' current ability, so they are getting some stretch. And as we all know, if this is true for you, give me an emoji inside of the chat box there. All of our classes are at different levels. If that's true for you, give me a thumbs up or a heart. Do you have different levels of ability inside of your classroom? All right, Willota says true. Meryl says yes. Patricia, I see you there. Roma, Michael, Diana, Rim. Oh my goodness, Angelica, look at the explosion. There's so many teachers saying, yes, we have mixed level classes. So not only do I need to be able to scaffold student, you probably have students in your classroom who are above the zone of proximal development of some of your students, in which case for those students, we want to stretch their learning above the learning goal. And in using the global scale of English can really help us understand what that looks like as well. So it's a very useful tool that can help us understand how to target that zone of proximal development to be effective teachers in the classroom. Now, I am sure some of you on the call today are thinking, Sara, this is great. But at my school, we have the national curriculum that we have to meet. At my school, we have specific institutional learning goals. If that is you, give me a thumbs up. Give me your emojis. Does that sound? Fada says, yep, that's me. Jose has that experience. Teresa gets it. Aranadita understands it. Mary understands it. Amal, it describes Amal's class. All right, Eli. Joanna, Marianne. All right, excellent. So many of us teach in environments maybe like this, where you have a national curriculum. As you can see in this national curriculum, the students need to build up their understanding of languages for positive communication. And then you might have a specific institutional goal. For example, in this institution, by the end of grade 9, the students need to be able to initiate and maintain a conversation. Well, if you are the classroom teacher, this is excellent. It helps me understand my goals. But what do I need to teach on Monday? What do I need to teach on Tuesday to make sure I am reaching these really, really big goals? And this is where the global scale of English can be very useful, because I can take that institutional goal. This is my big institutional goal for my school, and I can use the GSE to show me 5 skills that my students need to accomplish in speaking in order to achieve this. So, as you can see, the global scale of English is not just useful for understanding those institutional goals that we might be working on, but it can help us break those institutional goals into smaller level goals that we can then accomplish in our classroom. And if you look at this, notice the first one here is can understand some details in extended dialogues on familiar everyday topics. That is still a really big goal. What if my students can't do this yet? This is where we are going with our learning. If my students can't do this, how do I help them get there? So this is how we do it. And Raylan, trust me, I'm going to show you where you can find these. I apologize for my slides. They got mixed up. I can take this goal. I can break this into smaller and smaller goals as well. There it is. So can understand some details on extended dialogues on familiar everyday topics. That's a GSE 46, a CEFR B1. And you can see I've broken this into 4 smaller goals at an A2 plus level of ability. My students are working towards B1. They are not at the B1 level yet. In order to get my students to B1, we need to walk up some hills. We need to climb a ladder, if you will. And so I can use the global scale of English to help me understand what steps do we need to make in order to get to that B1 level goal. Oksana, I'm glad this is informative. Thank you so much. Yes, I really, the GSE is fantastic for scaffolding. And these objectives that you are seeing, these are global scale of English objectives. So let me show you where you can find all of these GSE objectives. Who wants to see some learning objectives? Who would like to see that? Who would like to have them? Let me know. Are you ready for some learning objectives? I see some me, Cecilia, Patricia, Mariana, Trina. All right, that's a lot of people who want to see global scale of learning objectives. Okay, excellent. So now you know what the global scale of English is. You understand the research and how to use it. Now let's talk about where you can get the GSE. So in our next session, I'm going to teach you some of the tricks and tips that you will need in order to use the global scale of English. And the number one trick, we're going to cover all of these. You can see it on the screen. We will come back to it. All of these can be accessed through the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. It looks like this. At this point, though, we are not going to wait around on this website. I am sorry. Let me pop out of there. Here we go. We have the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. Give me a thumbs up if you can see this on the screen, or a heart. Let me know that is coming up for you. All right, I see some thumbs from Barbie, from Marcel, from Miriam, from Tony, from Milos. All right, from Shin. Excellent, excellent. So we can see this is the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. I'm going to pop the link in the chat. If it disappears, we'll paste it in there for you again. This is where you can get access to the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. If you want to use it while I am doing this session, try it out at home. Feel free to play along. I am going to make it bigger so we can see this nicely on my screen. And let me give you a quick tour. The Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit is an interactive database that you can use to search through all of the different parts of the Global Scale of English. You will have 4 tabs when you open up the GSE. You'll see the learning objectives first. Then there is a grammar section. Next, we have the vocabulary section. And finally, we have the text analyzer. And Gabriela is asking, or Amal is asking, is it free to use? Yes, the Global Scale of English is entirely free. And if you click the link to go to the website, you will notice you don't even have to sign in to use the GSE Teacher Toolkit. It is absolutely one of the single most valuable educator resources for language educators, and I'm so grateful that Pearson has done this work and shared this research with all of us. So let me show you how the Teacher Toolkit works. The first thing that you're going to experience when you want to find a learning objective in the Teacher Toolkit, you'll want to look right here where it says Choose Learner. When I open up this box, take a look at this. You'll be able to see, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it together. You have a number of different types of learners: academic learners, adult learners, pre-primary learners. If you are teaching very, very young children, if you're teaching ages 3 to 5, put an emoji in there for us. Give us a child emoji. I know there's some good baby emojis. If you're working with the young kiddos, I love the younger learners, let us know. Professional learners, Nurchin, that's you, Maria. Yep, I see some primary teachers. Kirk is some primary learners. We also have professional. If you are teaching English for specific purposes, or you're teaching university students who are preparing for careers, give us some work emojis. Are you a professional teacher? Our adult learners, this is general English. Our students might be learning for travel or to communicate with others around the world. If you are just working with adults, give us some adult emojis. Academic learners, academic covers any student who studies English for academic purposes. This could be high school students who are preparing for college freshmen who are improving their English for their career. Academic can also include students who are preparing for an English examination. This covers many of the academic skills that you will use in college and university study. And finally, different from pre-primary is the babies. Younger learners. This is that age 16 to 14. If you know your childhood development theory, you know that around age 6 and between age 6 and 14, our young learners begin to develop their concrete ideation of the world. A lot of this comes from our Piaget, if you know the research. And so these younger learners, this scale is specifically designed for that young learner who is not quite a baby, but not quite an adult yet. If you are working in high school, you may want young learners and academic learners, or young learners and adult learners. If you are teaching children over the age of 16 or who are ready to transition into that adulthood. If you're in a junior high school, I would recommend young learners, but you might want to explore the academic or the adults because that can be helpful. Amal asked, can this be used for IELTS preparation? You can use it for IELTS. You can use it for the Pearson tests of English. Any of those different certifications, like the Pearson English certification. If you're preparing for those, absolutely, the global scale of English can help you prepare for a variety of different assessments. The next thing that I want you to know about is the skills. So not only can I choose the learner, I'm going to choose, let's give me a vote. We'll do a quick vote in the chat box. Whoever gets there first, I want to look for the biggest one. Academic, adults, professional, young learners. I'm looking for academic. Academic is the winner so far. I've got to go with academic. Academic was the most. I'm sorry. I know there are others. We'll get some more. We're going to start with academic. When I look in academic, I can also choose the skill. Notice I have different skills that come up on the screen. We have our language skills. What do you think is in the language skills? Can you guess? I bet there are 4 things in the language skills. What is inside of language skills? That would be, what will we have in there? It's not just academic. It's not grammar. It's the language skills. It's the 4 skills: reading, writing, there it is, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So if I click on the skills, I can actually see those 4 skills. Under academic skills, this also gives you things like academic discourse strategies, like preparing our students for a discussion or delivering a seminar. Let's do academic discussion. Let's do our language skills for speaking and listening. I think that's good. I'm going to choose those. Notice I have this filtered now, so I can see this on the filter, and I'm going to show my results. Here we go. When I click show results, that is when the magic happens. And it's not giving me, there it goes. You'll see that blue line at the top of the screen tells me it's working. And here we go. My computer is also a little slow. It's taking some time to get the results. And hopefully I didn't mess this up too badly. Here we go. So I'm not seeing anything. I think that's my problem on my ends here. So let's make sure we have language skills, listening and speaking. Did we pick academic discourse? Okay, good. Now we're all choose. All right. So here we are. There we go. Show the results. Let's do this one more time. I don't know why this is taking so long. Normally it comes up just like that, but we may have some technical difficulties. I am doing this live. So that would be my wonderful thing, is for this to break down on us live in this session today. It's also probably 1,000 of you have just gone to the teacher toolkit and you may have broken the toolkit for me. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go ahead and clear these filters and let's just get into the results, see if we can get it going. Come on, GSE, you can do it. All right, I see that 0 is coming up. That is okay. This happens sometimes. This has happened when we have a lot of people coming onto the toolkit at once. We'll go through some other results here and hopefully we can get this to come up here. This is because we're all so excited about the GSE. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. All right, so I'm just clicking show results. I don't currently have any filters. Notice that this came up with 1,000 results. We have a lot of results here. So I can actually use these different filters, like I'm going to use speaking as my filter here. I had to change my set over to adult, so we're looking at adult learners. I'm changing my filter, so I'm going to get some different results. And now it is going to give us some speaking results filtered. There we go. And now you can see I have speaking objectives. Altogether, we're looking at about 700 different objectives here for speaking. If you are having any trouble with the toolkit, it's because we just sent 1,000 people to the website. So that can cause a few problems, but it is okay. Now, I want to show you some tips. These are some of my favorite tips. See the button? I can actually click up or down. So right now we have the 10 GSE. If I click on this button, that's going to change the order. So I can go to the more difficult objectives first. That's one of my favorite quick tips. Some people don't know about this. That will change the order so I can see this from the top down instead of from the bottom up. It is currently working. It is because so many people went to the website at one time. It's taking a little extra time to do that filtering, but it is going. I can see it working up here. So I know it's trying its best to filter that down for you. Come on, Toolkit, we can do it. If this doesn't work in real time, it will come there. So this is kind of how we filter on the teacher toolkit. One of the other things to notice on the teacher toolkit, notice that you can see this drop-down arrow right here. When we open up these drop-down arrows, that actually gives you more information on the toolkit. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I will open up this arrow and notice it's giving me related grammar objectives. So these related grammar objectives I can now use to plan my speaking lesson for asking someone their name. So if I'm going to use the teacher toolkit, that makes it very beneficial. And you'll notice I have 71 pages of results. This is a lot of results. Let's go over maybe into the middle. I'm going to go over to page 22. Results found. Again, if you're getting 0 results, it is because the website is so busy right now. It is a problem when you have a successful webinar and a lot of people show up that it can crash your live website in real time. So it is okay. If you're not seeing it, that's okay. This is what happens. I want to show you some of my other tips that we can use. You can find so many learning objectives here. It is so useful. Another thing that people often don't know, there they go. Here are our learning objectives. They've come up. This is at the C1 level of ability. When I click the drop-down arrow here, you're going to see even more because now I'm also seeing soft skills, communication skills. Each of these arrows will give you different types of information about the learning objective. So if you're working with the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit, if you're getting this error message, it's because you are one of 1,000 people that are right now trying to use the Teacher Toolkit. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see so many people on the website. I do understand that it might not work right now, but we will follow up with you after our session today to make sure that you have a link. But be excited because it's not working because all of you are getting access to it, and that is okay. So do try it later. Thank you, Rilyn and Willota. Thank you for trying it later. Luz, thank you so much. I promise it will work. Right now, the GSE it's so exciting and everyone is accessing it that we're all having a little trouble. That is okay. by me. We're going to go on and see if we can actually get the tabs to work. In the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit, a couple of the other quick tips to try. Some people know this, some people do not know about this. The GSE also has this amazing slider. So I'm going to show you this really quickly. You can actually slide the GSE to select your range of proximal develop, your zone of proximal development. So with the Global Scale of English, you can actually pin this to a special range. And notice right down here, this is actually creating a filter for that range. So this will allow me to exclusively look at objectives that are inside of that range of ability. And now I can actually search right there. All right, we're going to see if grammar works. I'm trying really hard to get over to grammar. This is what happens when you have so much excitement on the show. Let us see if we can get there. If not, don't worry. Sarah always has a backup plan. So I'll show you another way to get access to all of our wonderful objectives if we can't get everything to work today. If it is showing no search items, again, this is because we are over capacity on the teacher toolkit. We broke the internet. We actually broke Pearson. Give me an applaud. Give me your thumbs up emojis in the chat box. That is what we are doing here. So we have really done it today. I know, it's such a great tool. We have taken it offline. That is what the excitement does. Thank you so much for all of your applause. Even I can't get to the toolkit right now. We have so many people using this tool. It is literally breaking the internet. I love it. So I want to show you some of the other tricks. We're going to pop out of here for just a second, and we'll come back into the GSE. Let's give it a minute to take a break, because I do want to try to show you some tools. In fact, let's take a look at the text analyzer. You may have noticed that right at the end of the teacher toolkit, there is a text analyzer. This is a special tool that was designed by Pearson to analyze text on the CEFR and the Global Scale of English. If this is you, have you ever tried to find out what level of difficulty is this text on the CEFR? Give me a book emoji, give me a thumbs up. Daniel has asked for this. Laura, Ivan is like, yes. Roxanne says yes. Iwana says she loves that. True. All right, so this is a challenge many of us as teachers have when we're trying to find out the level of difficulty. There are readability tools that you can use for this, but often those readability tools are not designed for English language teachers. They're designed for general teachers, but I need to see the CEFR. So I'm going to go over to the Global Scale of English. I've got some text. I'm going to paste it in here. That is not the right text, so let's do that again. That's so funny. All right, here we go. I know I have some text. There it is. I have this text. I'm going to paste this in here. This is a reading passage called A Visit to the Night Market. Okay, teachers, how many of you have created a reading passage with ChatGPT? Give me your thumbs up, give me your icons, give me your emojis. Who has made a reading? Yep, I see. I know you did it. I know you did it. Laura did it. Mohammed has done it. Alexandra and Wendy. Eleven. Ijanya has done this. Sandra has done this. All right. So many of us have made a reading text with ChatGPT. I made this reading passage with ChatGPT this morning just for today's show. And I told ChatGPT, I want an A2 level text. Have you done this with ChatGPT? Have you told ChatGPT, make it at a specific level? I see a lot of yeses. Jose has done it. Zuzana has done it. Sandra has done it. Era has done it. Amal, Stella. All right. So did ChatGPT get it correct? Let's find out. I'm going to analyze my text right now. We're analyzing it. Here it goes. It's just analyzed my text on the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. Dun, dun, dun. Look at what we have learned. Is this A2 level? Is this A2 level? Look at this. This, exceed? No, it isn't. It's a B1 level text. In fact, one of the biggest challenges with most conventional AI tools that are currently available to teachers, even when you tell an AI to make something that's A2 or lower. Frequently, what you get is a B1 level text. So if you want to know, is my text appropriate for my students? The Global Scale of English Text Analyzer can help you check, and you'll see it's highlighted all of these parts of my passage which are above level. Now, having a B1 text for an A2 class is not a bad thing. That's progress, that's stretch. But if I can see how many words is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is about 15 words that are above my students' level of ability. Some of this is a grammar challenge as well. Now, with this information, I can appropriately level my text so that it's at the right level of difficulty. So Lebov asks, what is highlighted? These words that are highlighted are the words that are above the level of the CEFR that I am aiming for or that I want to teach inside of my classroom. Notice at the bottom, I have other readability measures, and you can actually, with the text analyzer, you can save your text for later, and you can download your analyzed text as a PDF. This is what it looks like. Take a look. And you can see how that works. So now I have this, I can work with it in my classroom. I can use this for other things. So the Global Scale of English Text Analyzer uses the Global Scale of English to review those texts, to analyze those texts. Again, this is free to use. It's available with the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit. Also, on the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit, we have a vocabulary tool. You can choose your learner. You can have adult learners or young learners. That's still in our beta test. I'm going to go for adult learners, and I'm going to search a word. I'm going to search this word, light. How many results do you think that I will get for the word light? Let me know. Give me a count. Do you think I'll get 5,000? How many results? Muhammad says 40. Mohammed, that was a great guess, sir. Thank you so much. Ziziana says 20. I see some people say 50. Some people say thousands. All right, let me show you the actual results. Survey says I'm going to show results, fingers crossed, 38 results. I have 38 results. This is because when the Global Scale of English is searching a vocabulary word, not only do you get the word, but you get all of the different definitions of the word by those levels of difficulty. So for those of you who know linguistics or who work a lot with corpus analytics, you might know this as polysemy. It looks at the polysemy of the words. And if you love this, Laura, it gets even better. Do you see this little drop-down button right here? If you click on that drop-down button, you also get a definition of the word, an example of how the word is used in a sentence. It has been cross-referenced to different types of topics. And right here, look at this. You have a list of collocations for that word. And these are the collocations that you're going to see that word at. So you also get the collocations for these different words. Isn't that useful? I know. And I'm going to make sure I'm sharing appropriately. Let's see if this works. We're having a day of some technical difficulties. Sarah already broke the internet one time today. Tell me if you can hear this. Here we go.
Light. 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 Light.
We also have British English and American English pronunciation. So you can share this with your students. In fact, do you see this big download button? What this allows you to do is to create vocabulary lists. Let's make a list really quickly. I'll show you how to do it. First, I'm going to choose a topic. I have topics. I can just choose those. Take a look. It's right here. I can choose a topic from any of these topics. Give me a topic. I have some on the screen. I'll make it bigger. I'll let the audience choose. What do you think? Pick a quick business. Business was first. I'm going with the first one I see. What kind of business? Very quickly. Finance, banking. I heard banking. All right, banking is coming up. Let's try banking. So I'm going to go business banking. My students are currently at an A2 plus, and I'm working towards B1 plus. So we have a pretty big range in my classroom. I'm going to show results, fingers crossed. There we go. Look at that. I have 16 words that are related to the GSE and the CFR. I have my definition, my example, my topic trees that I can use. I can see the grammatical category of the word as well. And if I want to download this, I can click on the download button. And over here, I'm going to select all of the words. So this is all 16 of the words that you see. And teachers, this is my favorite part of the global scale of English. Do you see what it says with download? You can choose Excel or PDF. So if I am creating teacher materials, I might choose Excel, then I can have it in my spreadsheet. But if I want my students to be able to go and practice with the pronunciation and see the vocabulary, I can download a PDF. I'm going to click download. Here it goes. When it downloads, it's going to open us up for us. Here it is. I just downloaded this file. All right, this is the best part. Pearson did this from the beginning. This has been available since 2014. Not only can you download your files, it has a QR code. If your students scan the code, it will take them to the global scale of English so they can see the vocabulary search and then they can listen to the pronunciation. Isn't this amazing? And now my students have this vocabulary list. They can use the vocabulary, put that in their notebook, put this in their binder, use this to study and improve their own learning. That is how easy it is to make a quick vocabulary list for my students. And they can also see if collocations are available. They can go to the website and get those as well. If you tried scanning that QR code, feel free, don't break the internet again. I'm still working with the toolkit. Maybe don't scan that QR code. I might need to use some more GSE. So that is how the vocabulary works. Final thing I'm going to show you here is grammar. We are back online. So with grammar, you can search vocabulary. You can also search grammatical category. Very quickly, I'll show you. Look at all of the grammatical categories that we have that are over here. I'm going to just pick the top one here. We'll go with adjective. And I'm going to do adjectives of comparison. And I want to choose that. We're going to show the results. Notice I'm leaving my toolkit open, so I'm not fixing a range. Whenever you're in the toolkit, you can either leave it open, that will give you all of the results, or you can make it into a certain range that will target your zone of proximal development. And as you can see here, I have 14 results. Let's take a look at the first one here. So in the first one, I have the structure, the grammar structure, an example of the grammar. And this is my favorite thing ever. Teachers, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm going to say a statement. It's kind of controversial. You should not teach grammar and speaking at the same time. Agree or disagree? Should you teach grammar and speaking at the same time or not at the same time? We should teach grammar and speaking at the same time, right? All right, everyone agrees with me. You should always do that. Well, what learning objectives do I use with this? So with the Global Scale of English Teacher Toolkit, you also get the related skills objectives. So if I'm teaching my students the superlative form of regular adjectives, I could do that by having my students make a simple comparison between people, or they could compare and contrast alternatives of things to do, or they could compare advantages and disadvantages of approaches. By using the grammar objective with the skills objectives, I can make sure that functionally the grammar is embedded inside of my speaking lesson. And sometimes I saw Leven say, if sometimes it really need to know what is the good match for my grammar objective, that is how you find it. And my final thing I'm actually going to go into, because we have just reviewed the Global Scale of English Toolkit. I know we broke the toolkit. I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint because it is time for the final part of my show, which is the Global Scale of English secrets. These are some secrets about the GSE that some people just don't know about. So I want to share those secrets with you very quickly. The first secret, and possibly one of my favorite and best secrets, is this one. Do you see the folder on my screen? Give me a quick thumbs up. Oh, Laura even asked about it. Laura says, what about the resources icon? All right. So when I click this resources icon, this is a secret. Now you know it. I tell all of the secrets. When you open this, Pearson, thank you, Pearson. A few years ago, Pearson took a lot of content that they had available to use. Take a look at this. This is an adjectives and superlatives worksheet. You can just download this worksheet and wait for it, teachers. The best part, here it is. One of my favorite words, look at this. This is my favorite word in the English language, photocopyable. This is a free resource. I can copy this resource. I can use it in my classroom. I don't have to pay any money for that. I know, I love Pearson too, Laura. It's so good. So the Global Scale of English, and not only do they have the worksheets, look at this, they also have the answer key. So you can have the answer key. I will tell you one of my favorite secrets. I will download 4 or 5 worksheets that are at the level, because all of these worksheets are at the A2 plus level. All of the content that is in this resource bucket is leveled to the CEFR or the Global Scale of English. So you can download the resources and do a task-based activity by having students come up and choose a resource they want to use, download 3 or 4 worksheets, let the students complete the worksheet in a group, and then they come up and get the answer key and check their own answers. It's integrated skills, it's collaborative learning, it's creative learning, it engages our critical thinking, it engages our communication, and it allows those students to have agency and choose the activities they want to do. It's a great way to use a Friday afternoon, and all of that information is right there thanks to Pearson. So that is secret number 1. Did you like my first secret? Would you like more secrets? I have more secrets. Give me yes, I see yes, yes, yes. Since 2014. I love the goals. All right. The next secret, one of my favorite secrets that people don't know, the Global Scale of English Score Converter. Did you know about the GSE Score Converter? If this is your first time learning about it, give me your most surprised and amazed emojis. The GSE Score Converter, we will share this link for you. What the GSE Score Converter allows you to do is to actually take an assessment like IELTS, we mentioned that earlier today, and we can convert it to the Global Scale of English. So maybe I have some students who are at an IELTS 6. I am teaching those students at an IELTS 6. They're really trying to get to that IELTS 7. Well, what is an IELTS 6? What does that mean on the GSE? So I can convert the score 46 to 55. Now I know the range. I can go to the teacher toolkit and I can say, all right, my student is a 46 to a 55. Let's look at what my student should be learning. So here's my range, 46 to 55. I show the results. And here are 4 grammar points. Oh, wait, I still have adjectives of comparison. Let me take that off of there. Here are all of the grammar points, 164 grammar points that are inside of that range. Now, I can say maybe I want to use my students to use that with time expressions for the past. And here I can have them do it by describing clock phrases, or maybe writing a simple story to describe a past event. Now I am preparing my students for that IELTS exam, and they'll be able to improve their progress. Or maybe they'll decide, you know what, maybe what we should look at is the PTE, so we can look at a different assessment as well. So one of my favorite secrets that people don't know about is the Global Scale of English Score Converter. And if you like that, there's even more. I'm going to show you. I tell all of the secrets, just don't tell me your secrets. You might have them blasted out to 1,000 people on a Monday morning. Another secret, did you know about the Global Scale of English Assessment Framework? If you know about that, give me a thumbs up. If you're like, Sarah, I've never heard, what do you mean there's a GSE assessment framework? Look at this. This is just right over here. You can see it. I have a big rubric. Look at this rubric. This is a rubric that tells me the specific skills that my students need at that level of ability. And so how do you find this? Let me show you where you can get this. One of the best things about the Global Scale of English is the GSE has a website, and one of the pages for the website is the research resources page. Let me show you how to find that. If you're on the GSE website, you want to scroll down, and here you're going to see the resources. When you open Explore the Resources, it will take you to this page. I'm going to pop this in the chat box. Go ahead and break the internet. I already loaded it, so it's okay. This is the GSE resources page. If you would like to learn more about how we created the GSE, how it was developed, you can find the research and reports. Mike Mayer, who is attending this session today and will be speaking tomorrow, he just wrote a brilliant paper about 10 years of the global scale of English. Check that out. Also, in the research papers, I will be very sad if I don't point this out. Pearson has written this amazing paper called How Long Does It Take to Learn English? A burning question. I know the answer. Do you know the answer? Do you know how long it takes to learn English? If you don't know the answer, you can go find out. I'm not going to tell you that secret. Mike has that secret. He might share that with one to you tomorrow. Here you can see how to access the toolkit. We also have classroom materials. This is where you can download the assessment framework. And with the assessment frameworks, you can download this as a PDF. So if you are in a situation like right now, I know my friends attending from the Philippines are currently having a typhoon. Maybe your internet goes offline sometimes. Maybe you don't have a steady connection. You can download these resources as a PDF, and then you have the assessment framework that you can look at on your phone, that you can look at on your laptop, that you can look at on your tablet. We've got the resources, we'll post them again, so I do recommend that. The GSE, the same thing with the global scale of English. If you can't use the teacher toolkit, if the teacher toolkit broke, like we broke the internet today, if that happens, you can actually download the entire collection. There it is. The Global Scale of English for Young Learners. And here are all of the objectives. Look at it, objective, objective, pages and pages and pages, 52 pages of learning objectives that you can download, that you can take offline and have them. And you can download every single one of the GSEs, pre-primary, the young learners, our adults. We didn't even have time to talk about professional learners. We'll have to have another webinar just about that. All of those resources can be found here. And the final one, I think this is very important. You can also download alignments of the global scale of English to other frameworks. So if you are using WIDA, for example, to work with young learners, the WIDA standards, we have an alignment. If you're using the CLBs or the Canadian language benchmarks, this is where you can find it. If you're using the CCRS, the College and Career Readiness Standards, there you go. ACTFL, the Ontario standards, the California standards, all of those are right there. This is at the website. They will share that resource with you again in the comments. So, and of course, the teacher toolkit is the best kept secret. So be sure to tell your friends, tell everyone that you know about this. I see a lot of thank yous coming up. I can see the time. I want to thank you as well for being here today. And I want to say this is a great quote. It's about assessment. The global scale of English, when people see the scale, the first thing we think about is assessment. But it's not about the assessment. It's what you do with the information that matters. And I hope that I have given you all a lot of great ideas and lots of information about how to use that teacher toolkit. If you love this and you want to see more of it, I am a GSE ambassador. I hope that you will follow me. I am always sharing GSE secrets. If you want to follow me, I am available on LinkedIn. I made a choice a few years ago. I'm one person. I can only have one social media. So this is it. Feel free to give me a like and follow. You can also see my volunteer project is saradavila.com. I share resources with teachers everywhere, and you can learn more about me online. And of course, thank you to Pearson. If you are here today, this is day one. If you thought this was good, you should definitely be here for tomorrow's show. We have Billy Diego coming up next. She's going to talk about the global scale of English and the smart lesson generator, Pearson's AI tool. Mike Mayer Ayer is going to talk about English language, employability, the future, and AI. We have David Booth, who will be joining us to talk about assessment. And finally, Agata Wenseka will be here to talk about the global scale of English and the new soft skills. I didn't even have time to talk about those today. This was a packed session. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have any GSE related questions, we have 1 minute. So we might not get to your questions today, but you're welcome to answer those. However, hopefully we will see you here over the next 5 days of learning. I can't wait to see all of the learning that we're going to do. And I look forward to seeing you all in those sessions as well. Links are in the email. Certificate links will be emailed out. I see a lot of questions about that. Thank you. I will take all of the blessings. Everybody can always bless me. Always appreciate. I need prayers for good weather. Chicago has bad weather this time of year. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Do check out this recording. Will be available on YouTube in the future. If you want to watch this, share this with your colleagues. If you are a teacher trainer, I hope I gave you some great tools and resources for your next training and development, and we will see you all in the future.